All right, guys, we're back with another review here on a car. Last video I posted my Giulia, my TI Sport Giulia, my 2019, and as you can see, I recently upgraded to a 2022 Stelvio Ti. Life hits you, things change, you need more space, and yeah, so this was the move for me. Priced out a lot of other cars. I was actually interested in a Wrangler Sahara. But the way pricing is going now, they're absolutely insane. And this car just happens to be a lot cheaper than what the Sahara was quoted at. And it's a lot more comfortable for my family and I. And I think it's a lot more fun to drive. But anyway, so here it is, the TI trim. The recent years, they had the TI Sport. Now, if you want to get the Sport, I believe it's called the Veloce. So the Veloce has a little different things on the outside, but it's worth noting that it's all the same engine, all the same performance. It's just purely some aesthetic stuff that's a little different here. But anyway, let's give you a little walk around to show you the TI and what it actually has. Here's the front. 99% sure that the front on all of the models is exactly the same. I don't think that there's a splitter anymore like on the older models. These are the rims that you will get on a TI. I think they're 19s. They're a little bit smaller than what you would get on a Veloce. And the Veloce inside here, these are painted black, not gunmetal. So on here you have the machine silver, I guess, and then you have the gunmetal on the inside, which is, I think, a pretty cool touch. Also on the TI, you get the Vesuvio. You can get a Vesuvio gray package, which comes around the wheel well, goes here under the door sill, on the side skirt, comes back around the rear, and then it goes all the way around the back here. This does have the black tail exhaust tips, which is pretty cool. I don't really know how I feel yet about the Vesuvio gray. I think I like it, but I do see the Veloce models in there, the body color, and I think that looks pretty cool as well. I also think it would have been pretty cool if this was done in the same black that is on the exhaust pipes, but you know, it's a nice contrast. It looks pretty cool. Also on the car, you have the black roof rails, which is pretty cool. And also what they changed on here, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but around the window, this is black, but it's a matte black. It's not like a polished chrome black like it's up on the roof rails. I know why they changed it to matte, because on my Giulia, it was this color here. And for some reason, it would have like watermarks and stains and stuff all over it that was almost impossible to get off, and it kind of looked like crap after a while. So they made it matte, which is kind of cool. I guess you can't really tell from afar, but I think it would probably have looked better if they would have done the roof rails in the matte as well, and would have made this matte black here. But I mean, I'm not really complaining. I think it still looks pretty cool. Also would have been great if they would have did the mirror caps in the black to match everything, but it's still very cool. Also, you have the TI badging here. You'll have the Veloce script if you get that as well. And so you might ask, why would you change? Why would you switch your car? I had 6 months left in my other lease. Pricing on these things are absolutely wild now. Alfa actually reached out to me and they said, hey, you have 6 months left on your lease. You have about 19,000 miles, super low miles. We're going to make a killing on that car if you bring it in now. So I told them, I said, listen, I'm not going to come in and get absolutely destroyed on a new lease deal or buying a used car. I said, I do not want to be any more, I don't want to be paying any more per month than what I'm paying now, if that's possible. I mean, you're upgrading, you get a bigger car, so usually it's a little bit more expensive. But, you know, I didn't tell them that. I understand that right off the bat. So I was paying $490 a month for my Giulia. That was with the tire and rim package and everything on it. Alfa actually paid me. They gave me $1,500 cash to give that car in early, that I could have either walked out the door with no car, provided I would have left my car, or I could have used towards another car. So obviously I needed a car, so I just used that money back towards my initial payment which, you know, out of pocket, you're about $2,500 for taxes and fees and all the other nonsense that they make you pay, but essentially zero down extra. So zero down extra, I paid, it was $2,500 minus my $1,500. So yeah, so that's basically out of pocket costs. And I'm at $515, so a couple dollars extra per month for a bigger car, more space, better for the family and everything. Also, on this trim, you get this silvery chrome, I guess, diffuser back here. On the Veloce, you actually get a black diffuser, which looks kind of cool. But I mean, you could switch this out if you like, and put the diffuser on. I had the diffuser on my Ti Sport Giulia, and I kind of miss the way that looks on the back. It makes it look a little more aggressive, but this is the Ti trim, and it's supposed to be a little more luxury, a little more posh. While we're back here, let me show you the back trunk space. This is one of the main things that I needed here with some space. As you can see, I have golf clubs in there, and these are just empty shopping bags, because, you know, they don't give you shopping bags anymore in this country, or you have to pay for them. So those are there. We got some good trunk space here. It's plenty for what we need. And as you can tell, I have the chocolate interior. I had the red on the Giulia, and this is the chocolate. Let's close her up, and I'll get inside and I'll show you all the updates that are in there. Different, much different, and much more improved than what the Giulia was. So let's get on in. All right. So right here, I'll show you the door. Since it's the Ti trim, I think this takes the place of the Lusso that was there before. It has the wood trim in here, not that silvery plastic looking thing that's in the sport models, which is kind of cool too. But I think this looks a little more refined with the wood trim that goes along the door, and it goes up to the center console and around the center here. And yes, these are the Ti seats. They're not the sport seats, and although I do love the sport seats, these are a lot more comfortable, a lot softer leather, and that in this sense it's better. For my wife, for everybody that gets in, it's a lot more comfortable. You don't have that bucket seat and the huge bolstering that you kind of have to hop over to get in, even though that is nice. So here we are, we're inside. Upgrades in here, tremendous upgrades. I mean, it looks, to the naked eye, it looks pretty much the same, but they solved all of the issues that I had with the previous model. It felt cheap, it felt rushed, it was missing little things that I thought would have taken the car to a different level if they would have done it. But the dealer actually told me that the car, they feel like that car was rushed. It was missing some things, and for whatever reason, they kind of skimped. So right here to the center, they actually finally wrapped the shifter in leather, not plastic. This is a leather shifter. It feels so much better in your hands. The other one had ridges on the side, and it felt like it was just glued together in kindergarten class. Now, I wasn't really upset about it because I love the way the car performed and everything like that, but it was just something to note that it just felt like crap in your hands. And that's something you interact with a lot, and you want it to feel premium, and now it finally does. This is all the different buttons here. This is more like a heavy-duty chrome black. Feels great. You have your Italian flag here, just in case people do not know where this car comes from. There it is. It's going to let you know right off the bat. You have a slot here for your phone. Huge, huge. The other car did not have any storage. You just had the 2 cup holders here. And where do you put all your stuff? You have keys, you have phones, you have wallets. You're going to put it all here in the armrest, or here, and then you have no room for things, or as Joe Rady calls it, Twinkies. You throw some Twinkies in there, whatever you want to put, or a can of sauce, pasta sauce, whatever you want to do. The guy's hysterical. Check him out when he does his reviews. So I purposely have here a water bottle and a little thing of Purell, so you can see that I don't even need to use this for my phone. I can just go ahead and drop my phone here. I would show you, but I'm using my phone to tape. Also, you have this little thing here. You put your key in there. The key fits perfectly. You don't have the keys flopping around the car anymore. Look, it goes right in. Boom, perfect. Rocket science. Amazing. Alfa Romeo. Fantastic. Whoever thought of that. Love it. I'll leave it there for now. Let's just put it there. Great. Also, they upgraded the button here. This button now just the side turns, and it has this nice finish to it. I don't even know what it's called. It feels metal though, but it's awesome. Better than the other one. It was this loose, cheap, plastic feeling thing that honestly felt like it was going to pop off every time you touched it. This is a real button, something you interact with. Awesome. Great job, Alfa. These buttons are more or less the same. This is what you had here. I never really had too much of an issue with this. These are okay. This button now, difference here. And the other models, you would... Let's fire it up first so I can show you. Okay, so we're on. So this button here is just, you hit it, and it goes to D, and then it pops back. And now to A, which I still don't recommend driving it in this mode. This mode sucks. Don't get this car if you're going to drive it in this mode. Get something cheaper and more fuel efficient, and that's what you drive. Don't drive it in this mode. This mode is here to make people happy. Terrible. Don't do it. At least in natural. And dynamic if you want to have fun. Also, there's a cubby here with wireless charging. You drop your phone right in there and boom, it charges. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Alfa. So you could put a phone there, you could put a phone there. You can still have your drinks, you have a place for your keys. Unbelievably smart and cutting edge, I guess. All cars have been doing this for years. I don't understand why these cars didn't have this in it years ago when I got the car in 2019, my other one. Also, they've upgraded this screen. Okay, as you can see, you have... Well, first of all, it's touchscreen. It's all touchscreen. Thank you. Thank you, Alfa, for making it touchscreen. The other car was not touchscreen. Okay? So that's a huge thing. Yes, people complain, oh, it's small. It's small. Big deal. If you want a car with a big screen, go get a Tesla. Go get something with a big iPad glued in here. This does not matter to people who are driving the car and driving it for what it is, because this car is an absolute blast to drive. What they did add here, let's just put it in this mode here. You can see your radio is pretty much the same, okay? Now what you can do is you can look at it on this screen. They added performance page. You can hit that, all right? And you can see your content, your technical gauges, which I love. You hit your technical gauges, you have a boost meter, you have a torque meter, you have an oil meter. This is great. When you drive a turbo car, you want a boost meter. I get 99% of people don't even know what that means, but it's awesome to have it. It looks great when you're driving. I love it. It's awesome. Need it. You need it. You have navigation that comes standard in these cars now. The Navi is good to have. I mean, yes, you might say, oh, well, I use my Waze and use that. Yes, I know. You're going to use Apple CarPlay. You're going to use Android Auto. We get it. But this is just them saying, here, take it. Take it. It comes standard in the cars. So this way, if you're in a place with no cell service, you still have a satellite that you can connect to. And yes, I've used this because I don't feel like sometimes I'm lazy. I don't want to put on the Apple CarPlay. Right? So it's there. Okay? And then you can kind of toggle over. You got more things. This is a phone screen. Great. You got driver assistance right on there. I can't even speak today. Let's hit that. What do you got? You got all your sensors and stuff here that you can change. Beautiful. The other cars didn't have this screen. Climate. You can adjust the climate right from the touchscreen. Look. Nice. Nice. Getting up to date with all the other cars that are out there. Beautiful. And all this other stuff. Settings. Great. And then you can drag and drop wherever you want. So I kind of dragged and dropped the 3 screens that I interact with the most. My radio, my performance, and my nav. I like to have those 3 there when I'm not particularly looking at one thing. I could see all 3 of them. Okay. What I did give up in this car were the paddle shifters. Now the paddle shifters are fun. They're similar to the ones in the Maserati. Actually, they're exactly the same. They're similar to ones in Ferrari, and they feel great and they're awesome. However, you don't really need it because you can go ahead and shift right here. And honestly, most of the times that I would drive my other car, my Giulia, I would bang gears from down here too, just because I'm used to driving a manual and this feels more natural than having my hands up here hitting the triggers. But paddle shifters are pretty awesome, so if you get the Veloce trim, that's what you'll get. Also upgrades. They upgraded the stereo in here. This is not the Harman Kardon. This is the base stereo, and this thing knocks. It sounds so much better than the one that I had in my Giulia. The Giulia speakers actually blew out recently. I think I popped that speaker down there in my Giulia. Yeah, it happens. It's not really a big deal, but I did. But anyway, this sound system sounds so much better than the one in the Giulia that comes standard with the car. Now, is it because there's more space? They could fit bigger speakers? Probably. Or they just went ahead and gave you a premium sound system. Who knows? But it sounds better. You have a speaker there, one in the middle, 2, 3, 4, 5 right in the front. And then when you go around to the back, you got them in the door, and you have them right above the heads of the headrest. Excuse the back, that's for my dog. I have a golden retriever, and as you can see, he slobbers all over the seat. That is not a defect in the seat. That is dog slobber, which has to be cleaned. Just too lazy to go ahead and do it right now. Also, another upgrade that they changed in here, you have the panoramic roof, which is, I guess they're kind of standard in all Alfas. But you see the shade? The shade now is fully automatic. It closes all the way and opens all the way with one touch. Okay? In my Giulia, it would only open halfway. It would only go up to here. And then in the back, you had another shade that you had to open manually for the passengers in the back. But this one now goes all the way back, which is nice. Love it. Love it. So, oh, another thing. You got the memory seats on the door, not hidden on the side of the seat that you have to feel around blind for. That's also a big thing for most people. I didn't really care, but now you can see what you're actually pressing. It's there. Now, in terms of how this car drives, how it rides, it has the same engine as my Giulia did. It has the same engine as all the models of the Giulia and the Stelvio, and the same performance numbers. However, this car, for whatever reason, now this doesn't make any sense to me, feels faster than my Giulia did. I don't know how. I did not expect it. What I expected was the car to feel slower because it's heavier, bigger. It's not as aerodynamic, you know, all the common sense stuff. But apparently, they're tuned a little different. The turbo's a little different, and the car pulls. It pulls like an animal, especially when you put it in dynamic. I've actually told my wife, do not put it in dynamic. Please don't drive it in dynamic because you're going to get a ticket. You're going to get pulled over. And I think we actually have a ticket while she was driving it in normal mode. We'll see what comes in the mail, though. Who knows? We'll deal with that when it happens. But yes, this car is a blast. Absolute blast. I'm completely shocked. I'm surprised. I did not expect it to handle and feel the way it does. This car feels like you're driving a little sport car. It does not feel like you're driving a heavy SUV. You know, I mean, it's not really that heavy compared to the other ones that are on the market, but this car performs. I'm gonna even go out there and bet and say that this car is the best performing SUV in its class. It's definitely has more power numbers wise on paper, but driving wise, I would love to see it in a race against an RDX or whatever else is in the class. I can't really think right now, but I'm willing to bet you that this car outperforms all of them. Now, what are you going to give up? You're going to give up a little bit of posh. You're going to give up a little bit of, wow, the cool factor when you get inside. I mean, this car, to me, is what I want. It's what I need. It's driver focused. It's performance focused. It doesn't fool you. It doesn't come in here and say, oh, look how pretty I am on the inside. And I mean, it does. It's cool. But it doesn't have all the fancy crap that other cars have here. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want that, by all means, whatever makes you happy, go for it. But for me, this works perfectly. This is, you know, you're driving. I'm not really playing with everything here anyway when I'm driving. I'm just, you're blind. You're feeling around, you're touching things, and you're not staring at all the bells and whistles here that are kind of hiding the fact that your car is underpowered. Now, if you want the big boy, you go ahead and get the Quadrifoglio, and that thing will put out all the power that you need and then some. But for me, everyday driving, this car is plenty quick, plenty fast. Also, something else that's worth noting in this car, which I think is a cool little touch, and it confused me actually. When you clean the windshield, the sprayers are not under the hood anymore. They were hidden under the hood. They spray up. The sprayers are actually in the windshield wipers now. Yeah, That's kind of weird. I've never seen that on a car, but they're in the windshield wipers. The fluid sprays out of the actual wipers themselves, which I guess is good and bad, because if the wiper gets bent by some Thundercat that walks by, they're probably more expensive to replace now. But it's a cool touch. It hides the little knobs that would have been under there, that spray and whatever. And yeah, but this car is, I'm very happy with it so far. My wife is very happy with it. And I'm here to tell you that in today's car market, probably one of the only times in history that you will actually have equity in a lease. If you're towards the end of your lease, oh, I'm gonna shut the car off because, you know, gas prices now. Thank you, Joe Biden. I'm gonna shut that off. But yeah, so you have equity in your lease, which means you can make money on a lease. In the past, you couldn't really do that. They would want their, you know, to get out of the lease early, they'd penalize you, they would make you release, and then they would kind of roll whatever you had left over into the new lease. And, you know, you couldn't really get out of the lease. It was kind of binding. But you have equity. What I mean by that is they paid me cash to get out of my lease early and get into a new car, and they gave me a lease deal that is pretty much unheard of nowadays on these cars anyway. I know that these cars are leasing for $600 plus a month. I have a friend who has a Veloce trim, which is, yeah, it's a little more expensive than this, but he's paying close to $650 a month for the car. And to me, that's a lot of money. I don't care what you're making per year. $650 a month on a car is kind of absurd. I don't really care if you're making millions a year. It's really not necessary to spend, I don't think. But yes, so equity. If you guys are towards the end of your lease and the car is in good shape and it's low miles, call your dealers. See what you can get. See what you can work. They want your car back early. They want to sell it used with low miles. They're going to make a killing. And then when you sit down with them, you tell them, hey, listen, I don't need to give this car back now. I know you're going to make a killing on this car. What can you do for me? Let them give you money back. Take that money, run with it, invest it, get a new car, whatever you're going to do with it, but take advantage of the market now. Now, again, this only works for if you have a lease and you're towards the end of your lease and you don't owe that much on the car anymore, then they can work numbers. But in the past, you could not do that. You would be penalized, you would have to pay, etc., etc. But last things before I end this video, I did not have any problems whatsoever with my Giulia. My Giulia was perfect, except for that little blown speaker. I know people, oh, Alfa is questionable, it's questionable. Well, I have no issues with it. My Giulia was fine, actually more than fine. It was perfect. This car is, so far, I have less than 300 miles on it, and it's so far amazing. It's exceeded all of my expectations, and the price was great. The performance is out of this world, I think, for this class, and I highly recommend it. And again, I gave you guys the numbers. I'm paying $515 a month. My insurance, you know, it doesn't really matter. It just depends on where you're from. You can work those numbers with your insurance company. And to fill it, I filled the tank the other day, and it cost me about $62. Again, thank you, Joe Biden. We're building back better, paying more for everything. Love it, love it. Such a great, just awesome plans, and the world is in so much better shape than what it was before. But yeah, so that's what it's costing me nowadays. And yeah, so any questions, any comments, drop them below. I'll be glad to answer them. But just know that I 100% recommend this car if this is what you're looking for in this class, or if you're looking for a car in this class, go ahead and test drive it. Just see what it feels like. You will not be disappointed. I highly doubt you will find another car in this class that performs like this. And it's good looking. That's, you know, it's good looking. It's kind of hard nowadays to find a smart, good looking person all together wrapped in one. And this car is good looking, it performs, and yeah, I guess the performance would kind of cover the smart end of it. I haven't driven it in the snow yet. We haven't got snow, but my Giulia was great in the snow, and I can only imagine what this will do in the snow with a little more clearance and weight. But anyways, yeah, go ahead, drop the comments, share the video. You guys want any questions, go ahead and ask. I'll be more than happy to answer. And yeah, thanks guys.